He's not going for a tear off. He's trying to spread his cheeks. It does for me. Works for me, dude. If I see him lining up, I'm like, oh shit. Especially if he's like, dude, if he's anywhere in the top 10, dude, put the camera on that guy. Because something's about to go down and I want to see it. What? What's wrong with my headphones? Because they're child-sized?
Back in the 90s.
The 90s was a great era. How dare you?
I barely remember it.
Okay, let's do this thing. Which button is it again?
Top. Oh, there we go.
Welcome to our magic show. No, that ain't it. No one would watch that.
Nope.
Okay.
And we just lost all of our views.
Yeah, we lost the one guy.
Yeah.
All right. We're back, man.
Yeah.
We're back for another pod. We're fired up too. Yeah. We do a lot of talking before the pod happens. And it's like, we really just need to shut up and hit record because we'll talk about new bikes or something that happened. And we're like, oh, did you see, whatever. And then when we start recording the podcast, it's like cricket. Wait, oh, dude, I got a button for that. Hang on. Where is it? Yeah. It's like crickets, right?
Yeah.
We're going to try and change that this time.
Okay.
Though. A lot has happened since we last did a pod. Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, we actually tried to do one on A1.
Yep.
First Supercross race of the season. It didn't work out that well. We had some technical difficulties, so we decided to bin it. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking we can go back and talk about some stuff.
Okay.
So by the time we're recording this, there's 3 rounds into the 2024 Supercross season, and there's some other things that have happened too, which is kind of cool. So we might as well just start off with the Supercross season, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey? So like I say, 3 rounds in, 2 of which, the last 2, San Diego and San Francisco, that have been mudders. And you know how I feel about mudders.
Love them.
I don't. I really don't. Not my favorite. Did you watch the San Francisco mudder?
Yeah.
That dude that is a proper mudder. Like I get San Diego was muddy, right? And quite muddy. I get it, but they're still doing triples. They're still doing stuff. Whereas like the San Francisco dude, that was next level muddy. Mm-hmm. Have you ridden in mud like that before?
Yes.
Really?
Oh yeah. And like it's funny because every time Enduro guy watches like a motocross mudder, we're always like, man, if we were out there, we would have won. Right? I'm like, why are you guys getting hung up on that, right? Like, it's easy to pop over that.
Dude, that was gnarly mud. Like, when you see the best guys in the world just literally trying to make it around the track, like not even... Like they're trying to paddle their way over top of a jump. Like that's crazy, dude. Best guys in the world. It's not like they've never ridden mud before. You know what I mean? Just, that's pretty wild. I did hear, I can't remember what video I was watching or whatever, but I saw that one of the riders, I want to say maybe Hunter Lawrence or someone, or maybe it was Barsha, I can't remember, that they got mud in the radiator.
Like actually like inside the
cooling
line?
system.
Interesting.
So that's what I thought, because I'm like, okay, well they had to have popped the radiator cap off and tried to top it up or something, right? Because it's a closed system. So there's no way that mud can get in it. But it sounded funny when he's like, he got mud in the cooling system or in the radiator. I'm like, okay, well, someone actually just had an accident and thought it'll be fine. I'm not going to drain it all. The bike will still run with a couple grains of sand in there.
You know? A new bike every moto, pretty much.
Question. Yeah. How do you zip tie a radiator with mud in it? Like, if you had a muddy radiator, how would zip ties benefit you from a Woods point of view? Is that something you could do a zip tie fix for? Or is this strictly an electrical tape problem?
I have fixed radiators with both methods.
Like I'm just thinking, like if you pop the radiator cap, are you zipping together 10 zip ties and then fishing it out?
What you doing?
It's like
Fishing, waiting for a bite.
just fishing mud out of my radiator zip ties. No, so I thought that was interesting because it's like that's a proper mudder, man.
That is.
And even people that like Plessinger that like the mud, I would suggest that he didn't like that one even. Like that was bad, right? To me, that seemed more like I'm just going to try to get the bike to survive the next 20 minutes or whatever it was, as opposed to, I'm going to try and ride this thing. It was more like I need to absolutely just leave the clutch alone and try and stay upright, What
was interesting is I was watching one of the mechanics. I think it was Anderson's mechanic. And like he actually put duct tape on the inside of his fenders.
How dare you? Moto guys don't do that.
And I was like, what?
Use duct tape. How dare you?
I will find you the video and show you.
No. That is sacrilege. Moto doesn't use duct tape to fix things.
Gorilla tape? What were we? Hockey tape? Come on here.
Yeah.
No tape at all, right?
No. Nope. It's got to be shiny. It's got to be new.
Put duct tape underneath, and then so when you roll into the pits, you just grab that, pull it off.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Right.
Dude, I wonder like with the the upcoming moto season races, like say, the spring and fall series and all kind of stuff. Yeah. That's a pretty good idea to do in like practice. Put a little tape there and then
especially when you're a sponge.
Well, that, and if you don't, like, if you're kind of ghetto like me and you don't have the pressure washer where you wash it between like practice and the first moto, you just runner. I'm sitting there kind of scraping it off, right? Where some guys are, using the pressure washer.
Yeah. To be fair, the last few years it's been me cleaning your bike.
This is true. So I go back to, if it's just me, I'll probably use tape. Yeah. But then I feel like it would get left on the inside of the plastics too, and that would look stupid.
Like I've always used either PAM or WD-40. I like PAM.
WD-40?
WD-40 works.
I've heard of PAM and the SC1, the new bike in a can. I've seen people use that a lot, but I've never heard of WD-40. Just a little weasel piss on there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, how else do you lube your chain?
Chain lube,
which is pretty much WD-40.
No, how dare you?
There is a
my $70 can of chain lube is.
Does it smell as good though?
Is superior to WD-40. Are you telling me my $3 Canadian Tire WD-40 is just as good as my $80 can of chain lube?
It is actually.
That sounds about right, actually. Yeah. I actually watched a video once. They were doing that where they had a guy was testing out different chain loops. Oh no, it was Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite they did a video on YouTube testing out different lubricants. I thought that was really interesting because it's like, honestly, for the chain lubes that are like super expensive, they're not really worth the money. Interesting.
And honestly, like maybe I just ride so much, but like I don't always lube my chain. Depending what the riding conditions are, because when you lube it, you actually attract more dirt onto it. And sticks, right.
I don't always put oil in my engine either. Because if it's cold out, it's just more resistance. I find if you have no oil in there, it'll run better for a couple minutes.
Sometimes I just don't put air filters in.
Let her free flow.
Steve,
you can't. Who shall remain nameless? Steve. So anyway, I thought that was interesting though, with the mudder bit there, and then of course the recent one in San Diego, not quite as muddy, but they were still doing all the jumps and all that kind of stuff, but entertaining to watch though. I think one thing that really stands out to me about like the first round is Jet walks away with a win, right? That he won A1, I think, right? Yeah. That was really interesting, because it's like, oh, okay, here we go. Is he gonna just take this thing? But then you go to the mud race, has an absolutely horrible mud race, right? A complete write-off. And then we get back to, what day is it today? We're filming this.
Today's
Monday. No.
Monday.
Is it Monday? Yeah, Monday. So Saturday, when the Supercross happened on Saturday, he didn't do that well there either. Which is, I love it. As a fan of the sport, I love that he's struggling there because it's super entertaining to watch,
And this is kind of what I was like talking about before on the podcast. Is like seeing him struggle with coming into this type of race. Oh, gotta adjust my mic there.
No worries.
Cut out. Yes, it's very exciting.
So you know, and I'm just looking at some of my notes here from some of because there's been a lot of stuff that's really cool that's happened in the last few rounds because we haven't got one of these pods out in a bit. But one of the things that I think was really cool was in San Francisco, round 2, Chase Sexton's start.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. Sexton said, I feel like I just got lucky. I saw the gate flinch and I let it go, right? That could be. But also, like Jason Thomas, some of the guys from Racer X, they're like, I'm not fully sold. I think he knew something. How though? Here's my question. Like, are you presupposing that what he paid off the gate drop guy to say drop it at exactly 5 seconds flat, or how would he know anything? You know what I mean? I just feel like I don't know. What do I know? But I feel like no. I think he probably just got lucky, like crazy lucky.
Yeah.
Because that's about as perfect of a start as you're ever going to see. And in a round like that proper mudder, you know, possibly the most important start of his Supercross season.
Yes.
You know, so interesting that he says, well, I saw it flinch and I let it go. I buy that more than, you know, he knew something or I don't know.
Yeah.
I get like they may watch the heat races. It's like at a local race when you watch the gate drops and they're like, you know, you'll watch it, you'll count it. Oh, okay, they're dropping it like right after 5 seconds, or they're dropping it after 3 seconds, or whatever it is. And that's the average of what they're doing. You can game it a little bit like that. But at that level, I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because, like, again, it's the same guy that drops the gates, right? So if you always like pay attention, be like, okay, he's very consistent dropping it here. Gives you a little bit of an upper hand, but
then everyone knows
still,
that.
Exactly. Well, how many of you guys are actually pay attention to that, right?
I would hope at that level, everyone, or at least they have a guy that's paying attention to that to tell them.
Yep.
You know, at that level, you would want every single
everything counts.
edge. Yeah, like every single, at least I would. So I can only assume, and they're getting paid millions of dollars, that they would be doing the same. You know, not just some hillbilly couch quarterback like me. But I thought that the mud races were really, really interesting. And then, you know, Cooper Webb, interesting to see where he's at. I thought, honestly, from like the pre-race races like Paris and stuff, I thought he'd be a little further back from the pack. So it's cool to see where he's at now, you know. I think that's pretty interesting. And it's with Tomac, horrendous round 1.
Oh, yeah.
Self-admitted, right? Gets 9th.
Yeah.
Comes back in round 2 for a second place finish in that crazy mud. I feel like any of the results in the mud though, you can't really base anything on any of those results because it's like, did the bike let go? No. Okay, well, you're lucky there, right? Did you keep it upright? Yes.
Yeah.
You're pretty lucky there. Did a lapper not make you fall over in the mud? Then you're lucky. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not really a good data point to pull from to say this is where this rider's at or this rider's at, you know?
I will say watching Tomac like ride through the mud, he's actually pretty damn good. Like watching his line choices and the way he just carries that little bit of extra momentum, especially over the lips of the jumps, whereas everyone else starts slowing down to kind of crest it and they get hung up always. And I'm just like, interesting.
I didn't honestly think he was that good of a mud rider.
Yeah.
You know, as compared to say like Barsha. Barsha won last year in the mud. Obvious that he's pretty good in the mud. I didn't see Tomac being the same way. So kind of cool though. Yeah. Like that dude can ride mud. I mean, look, all of them I think can ride mud aside from Jet Lawrence apparently. But you know, it's just cool to see that that he can get the job done like that. You know,
and it's a good confidence booster, right, for second place.
Yeah,
even though it's not like you're going full out there, but gets you back kind of on the podium.
Yeah, totally. Give you a little kick in the pants for sure. Yeah, and
especially
I think
after a 9th.
Yeah, and. You know, there's another thing that's been causing a lot of controversy, albeit not actually in that round 3, but round 1 and 2, Vince Freeze. That dude has been stirring the pot.
Oh, yes.
Hey, so here's the thing with Freeze. Like, from a fan standpoint, entertaining is all heck to watch because it just causes so much drama and fights and all kinds of stuff, right? So super entertaining. So from a fan standpoint, I actually don't want to see him leave just because it's like, okay, so-and-so's out front. I got to watch 15 more minutes of nothing happening, right? It's just not entertaining to watch. You want stuff to happen. Like you want people to go down in a corner or you want someone to overtake for the lead and all that kind of stuff. And if you've got a dude out there just straight torpedoing other riders, that's entertaining to watch, you know? That being said, the other side of the coin is that it's crazy that he's not getting in trouble for doing that. Like, it's crazy to me that he may get fined or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the background information, but it's crazy to me that he hasn't been like, hey, you're not racing anymore this year for the stuff that he pulls. Like, it's just so blatant.
Yeah.
How does that work in the off-road world? Like, if someone, like, let's say I'm like, hey, Tristan, and I torpedo him in the woods. What is the result of that? Because let's be honest, that's the only way I'm ever going to see him is if I wait up the course. Yeah, I wait up the course and I just wait for him to come by and smoke him with a bike.
What happens in the woods stays in the woods. There's no footage out there. Usually you're going to get sent into a tree. Typically what happens.
Well, here's a question. Do you see much of that on the off-road side of things? Like, do you see a lot of guys riding like a Vince Freeze? Like, they're dirty riders. They'll try and push you off into a tree. Or is it usually pretty clean? Or how does that work off-road?
It's usually pretty clean, especially because like out there, if you're doing like a hare scramble cross country, and you go down, like sometimes it's 5 minutes or longer before someone comes up on you. So if you get taken out and you're bleeding out, what's going to happen, right? You're most likely going to die out there.
Yeah.
So
unless you have zip ties.
Yeah.
You can put a tourniquet on with zip ties.
Dude, we've braced people's broken arms with zip ties on electrical table games. But no, for the most part, it's very clean. There has been the occasional time, either like I've experienced this with other riders or seen it happen, where guys get super aggressive and start trying to push you around, and usually you push them back and they hit a tree.
Yeah.
Right. And then
there's different consequences, I guess, that way.
You're still super mad at them, but you'll be like, you okay? And then they're like, you can see them getting up and you're like, cool. And then you just leave them. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. If somebody was trying to push me into a tree and then I just fought back a little bit, I don't think I'd stop it. Like, you just made your bed, you're going to lay in it, bud. I guess unless he's impaled, then I might feel a little bad. Yeah. But I'm also still winning.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the Vince Freeze thing, like I say, it's been a hot topic. Other than this last round, so after he took out Dino, he went off the track, didn't race anymore, and then this last round 3 in San Diego, he was nowhere to be found. And I don't know if that's because he's injured or what, but typically, I'm sorry. Hate me for saying it, but dude is interesting and entertaining to watch.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not the one getting torpedoed.
That's true. I was talking to my bike white. He's that wild card, right?
Yeah, totally.
So you know something's gonna happen. You just don't know.
He's
exactly
a complete loose cannon, man. And there probably is more stuff happening in round 3. There probably is more. It's just the TVs didn't capture it, But I'm sure you go back to the pits and someone's trying to punch him in the face for something that he pulled. It's just crazy that he still continues to do it. That's what blows my mind. Everyone in the industry knows what's happening, and yet he continues to just be like, "Giver, dude."
Yep.
Maybe that's because though he pulls in the views, he pulls in the draw. You know what I mean?
I'd say so.
I don't care if it's a cell phone camera from the bleachers.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens because it's super entertaining to see.
Well, it gets boring when it's just again, no one's really battling and there's not a lot of drama happening.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Another thing to touch on as I go through my notes here, Dylan Ferrandis. So, we touched on it when we kind of gave an A1 preview of the Supercross season. I feel like I, so far, have called it right. He's doing really well. He's top 10, top 5, when he's in the heats and he's in the main, he's running up there in the mix with a stacked field. You know what I mean? What are you doing with your glasses? He just did an intense look and adjusted his glasses. I'm wrong or something?
No, I just wanted to throw you off.
It worked. But I feel like Dylan Ferrandis he's doing well. And especially because he was written off by Star Racing and those guys, right? Outdoor champion, 450 champion. It's cool for me to see that he's back into the mix of things.
Yes.
I think that's pretty wild.
Absolutely. And again,
I don't know what that is. I don't know if we hear this shuddering sound, and I don't know if there's a woodpecker outside that's losing his mind or what, but
squirrels is trying to get it.
Yeah.
I kind of lost my thought.
Dylan Ferrandis.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's actually really cool to see, especially knowing that like he didn't have that factory ride coming back in and like beating people that do have factory rides, oh man, sets you up pretty good for the next season as long as you finish injury free.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's very cool to see. You know, another thing that's cool to see: Aaron Plessinger taking the win in round 3. That is like, dude, I don't want to call it a fairy tale because you know he's a good rider, but it's just cool. It's like a cool story if that makes sense. You know. Especially if he almost lost, won around last year and then ended up ditching the front end because he caught his toe. It's really cool to see it go start to finish. And of course, you know, mud race, Plessinger loves the mud, known for being a good mud rider. But honestly, I don't think it was so muddy that's what gave him the win. I think it probably played in because guys had a bad start and then, you know, the track was somewhat one-lined. And so, you know, they probably had a harder time getting up to him. I get that. But to me, that's racing. That's racing, right? You get a bad start and that's on you. So I think he legitimately has the speed to run up front. Now, if it's, you know, Webb, Tomac, Lawrence up front, I don't think he necessarily, at least every weekend, has what it takes to catch up and pass those guys. But I think if he gets a good start, I think he's going to be in the mix.
Absolutely. My favorite part is that he's a GNCC rider.
Yeah, I know you're going to bring that up. I knew it. I knew it. Because he likes to ride the mud. Yeah. He knows how to use zip ties to fix things.
He has a mustache. Right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And a mullet.
Well, it's more of a skullet at this point. Yeah, I guess. But hey, who am I to judge? I really like that, though. I think that's really cool. So let's talk about the controversy, the big controversy of round 3 in San Diego. Jet Lawrence, Jason Anderson. Yeah. They get into a bit of it afterwards. Now, I don't know if you saw it on the highlights or not. You probably saw that part. But like in the race, I was kind of watching some of it when the cameras would show it. And yeah, Anderson is riding a wide bike. He doesn't want to let Lawrence by. I get it. I didn't see if there's any cross jumping or anything like that. The cameras didn't show much of that. But I do know that if you're talking 4th place, I think it was 4, or something like that, you know, and you're Anderson, you're not going to give up the spot easily. I don't care who you are, right? So, I'm going to try and stop you from passing me. This is a race, you know? So pretty clear that Jet's emotions got the best of him there. And, you know, he's probably really, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone hate losing as much as I've seen Jet hate losing. You know, so he's had a couple bad rounds now. I can only imagine that his emotions are building on that and that he's pissed at this point, right? So I think we saw some of that come out with Anderson post-race there, but what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it was very interesting because like the first video I watched, it looked like Anderson just like lost his shit on him, right? And then I think it was like a day later, something that I saw like from the other angle, where it was actually Lawrence that like grabbed the helmet first, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And when I watched like, again, the kind of battling, I was like, everything looked really clean, like just a wide bike. Yeah, they got a little bit close in a couple of corners, but it's just like, I don't know. It looked like a nonchalant race, right?
Yeah, totally.
So like to see that anger come out of him right away, I'm like, that's interesting.
It is, because we haven't seen that yet from Jet Lawrence, right? He's been winning everything, and he's cool and calm and fun-loving kid and all that. Has a couple bad results. Now he's pissed, and now he's letting it show, right? And so is that going to translate into more on the track? Like, is he going to start making more mistakes because he's so used to winning? Well, now you're in the 450 Supercross. That's not going to happen every weekend, right? So,
and you're going to have those guys that are going to get in your way.
Yeah, right? and you're not going to push Anderson over. You're not going to push Barsha over, right? They're not going to let you do that. So yeah, they're gonna ride you hard, you know. And so interesting though. I think that's pretty cool, and I agree with you. One angle looked like Anderson kind of started it. The next angle, it was like no, Jet for sure grabbed his helmet. If you do that to another grown man, you're going to get something in return, you know. And they're probably, you know, I know they got fined. You know, personally, I wouldn't care. I'll pay the fine. Yeah, but you're not going to get away with that, right? So it's interesting that Jet did that. I didn't see it.
It has to do with like I guess like all the not winning, right? All the pressure, maybe being a little bit young and not understanding. Like again, you also went up to like another champion, right? Like when did Anderson win?
2018.
2018. Still, maybe. Right? Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And to go up to like another grown man like that and like
Yeah. And,
So,
and
like,
Anderson is, he was on probation last year for being rammy. So it's like, that's not the guy that is going to just roll over for you, And I think Jet found that out.
Yeah. It will be interesting if they cool down for the next round or if one of them still has that kind of pent up energy against each other.
Yeah.
And like goes out and kind of stuffs it.
I don't know, but I think that Jet pulling that move maybe damaged his brand a bit, right? Because he's like Jet Lawrence, Jet Donuts, Jet VIP area, all these things, fun-loving kid jokes around. Now he shows a little bit more of a monster inside, right? So I don't know if that hurts his brand as much. So I feel like if it did, I feel like, they're going to be very cognizant of that and be like, hey, you're not doing that again.
I completely understand being frustrated and like mad like that, right? Especially when you have it like going and all of a sudden things just aren't working.
Yeah.
But the way he showed it, again, like grabbing someone else's helmet, that's not very good, especially like if your sponsors are watching, like that will definitely hurt you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he had a talk.
Yeah. He already did like a press release or whatever, an Instagram post thing, basically saying, sorry, it was my fault. I instigated it, et cetera, et cetera. Well, of course you're going to release that though. Like, what are you going to say? No, it was Ken Roxon. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's plain to see what happened there. So there's no denying anything really, but I guess he owned it.
Yep.
But interesting though to see.
It'll be interesting to see if the pressure kind of keeps building on him. And
I bet it will.
Can't like.
Yeah, I bet it will. I think, obviously, in the outdoor season last year, he showed, perfect season, that he can handle pressure. But one thing we haven't seen from Jet Lawrence yet is losing repeatedly and the pressure and the stress that comes with that, because he's this golden child. He's the golden pony. And so I think that is one of the, the big things that caused him to be so frustrated like that.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. I mean, he's just a kid. He's still just a kid, right? So
still learning.
Yeah. Whereas Jason Anderson is a little older, more mature, a veteran of the class.
Yep.
So, you just see different things from Anderson for sure. I don't think next weekend you're going to see Anderson drive a Jet into a corner and punt him. You won't see any of that.
No, unless like Jet instigates it again.
Yeah. If Jet tries to take him to a corner, Anderson will pay him back in an instant. Yeah, but I feel like Anderson will have the maturity to not instigate it that way, And I think Jet probably is like, ooh, that was really, really, really not good for my brand. I'm going to not do that again.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see any of it next weekend, but I hope we do. Let's be honest. I hope we do. And I hope Freeze drives his bike in between the two of them and takes them both down. It's super entertaining to watch. Like when I'm watching it, I want to like get blown back into my chair and be like, what just happened?
Yeah.
That's when it's a cool race, man. I don't like the ones where so-and-so's out front. Okay. Clicking off laps. Nothing happened. Snooze fest, dude. Snooze fest. I'm not interested in watching that. I'll watch the highlights, which is probably just going to be the checkered flag with a whip.
Yeah.
But when stuff happens, super entertaining. So that was actually a cool thing to see after the race. So, Plessinger celebrating, doing his thing, and there's in the background, there's helmet shaking going on. No one gives a shit that Plessinger is holding up this big trophy. Everyone's like, a fight! There's a fight in the back, everyone.
You can see it, like everyone's like stopping their bikes and like staring, and like mechanics are like turning around. They're, what's going on?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. People like stopped and just like watching the whole thing.
Straight pulling out money, $5 on there.
Totally. That's where I would be.
Yeah.
I'd be stopping to watch for sure. Yeah. And maybe even, I don't know, like clapping, egging him on. Fight him. Hey, you're like that kid. Fight. Yeah, you're like the kid at recess in like grade 3. Fight. Yeah.
Throw some mud. Yeah,
he threw mud at you. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I heard him call you a dick.
Yeah. It was like that little devil costume just popping up beside.
He talked shit about your girlfriend. I heard it. Yeah. Well, that went south fast, but it's funny nonetheless and entertaining. Yeah, pretty cool. But did you see in the highlights the Webb Sexton thing? So Sexton was getting lapped, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But Webb was coming up on Plessinger and starting to put pressure on him for the lead. And Sexton, they hit a corner, and Sexton, according to him, tried to get out of the way, but then ended up running into Webb, slowing him down enough that gave Plessinger another big lead, and which was enough to take the win.
Yeah.
I don't know that Webb for sure would have passed Plessinger even if he did catch up to him. Webb's pretty aggressive. He's like a shark on the track, so he might have. But nonetheless, so Webb and Sexton collide. Not at a great moment. Sexton's like, yeah, that's totally my fault. Wasn't my intention. I was trying to get out of the way. Came out of the rut sideways or whatever that was, right? But then I just watched an interview with Webb, and Webb basically calls bullshit. He basically says, no, he knows what he's doing. That was not a mistake. Do you think that's because Sexton was trying to hold Webb back? If that's true, is that Sexton trying to hold Webb back for the win?
I don't think so. Like, at least when I watched, if I'm calling the correct video, it does look like Sexton just kind of messed up a little bit, right? And like you get tangled up. I don't really think he was purposely out there to like slow Webb down. It'd be great for tactics, but I don't think that was the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I don't.
And like the fact that like right afterwards, like you can see like Sexton looks over and like pretty much just waves Webb by, right? Like, again, if you're helping out your teammate, you're not going to do that. You're going to like get back in front of the guy, take the main line away, and just keep riding.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, interesting. I'm with you. I don't think it was intentional. At least it didn't look that way from the angle that I saw. That being said, there might be games played at that level that I don't know anything about. And Webb seemed pretty convinced that that's the case, but interesting nonetheless. I really didn't see Sexton getting lapped. That's pretty crazy, right? I think he was in like 8th or 9th or something like that. So crazy how the points shook out though. So you've got, a couple guys had a really good first round, really crappy second round. Some guys had a really good second round, really crappy first round, etc. Like it's literally been back and forth. And now all the points are like leveled out again. And it's so cool to see because you're like, oh yeah, like Jet's not just winning every round. And Tomac did really good. And then he did, he rode like crap and then he did good. And then it's just cool to see the back and forth, It makes it more exciting to watch. Throw a little sprinkle a little freeze in there. And then you got yourself a show. Yeah.
Who is winning for points right now then?
So Plessinger has the points lead.
Oh.
Yeah. But I think it's by like 2 points or something, like not by much over Sexton.
Yeah.
But still, Plessinger will have the red plate.
Nice. Interesting.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. So before we get too far off topic, in the silly season and bikes and all these kinds of things, I do think that Sexton is, I think, dude, I was going to say he's back, but then you watch this, he's getting lapped. And I get it's mud. I understand all that. It's, I get that it's not a race where they're pushing themselves and all kinds of stuff. I can't wait for next weekend, hopefully, if it's not another mudder, and we can see where everyone's really at. A couple rounds in, there's no more nerves, right? Everyone's shook the bike down a little bit.
Do you think Sexton did, like he was playing the long game, kind of like a Dungey, right?
Yep.
Just go out there, finish the race.
I think Sexton is going for consistency this year and not trying to pull off every win. We've seen him in the past try to do that, and then he ends up losing the front end and getting into trouble. So I think this season, I think he's probably trying to do the consistency thing. I mean, I don't have any information on that. I just suspect, but I think that's probably what's happening. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Another thing that's kind of cool. I don't know if you saw the 2025 Honda Spy.
Ducati?
No. Oh, we can talk about the Ducati too, but the Honda.
It looked like a Ducati.
Oh yeah. The new. Well, who knows if that's what it's actually gonna look like or whatever. But 2025 Honda kind of spy photos. Interesting. I kind of dig it.
Yeah.
What I'm not digging though is the Ducati front fender.
Oh, dude, that thing's terrible.
What are they thinking? What is that for a front fender, dude? Oh man. Okay. So maybe the bike would be great, but here's the thing. Why would you think that looks good? If I got a Ducati because the bike was that good and I was that much faster on it because it just fit me better, the first thing I would do is take a freaking hot gun and just cut that front fender.
Yeah.
That looks crazy to me. Am I off base here? Like
no.
It's like shark fins. You put shark fins on the bike or something. Like it just looks silly.
I'm trying to remember. There's that one bird. It'll be like
there's a lot of birds.
I know. Some like nice warm country with this giant beak that hangs down. It's like different colors. I'll have to look it up.
Like a parrot?
No, not a parrot.
A macaw?
Maybe a macaw.
Like
sounds like
Toucan Sam?
Yeah, Toucan. Probably, I don't know, something like that. Anyways, that's what that front fender reminds me of.
Yeah.
Right?
A bird.
Pretty much a giant, like ugly beak.
Yeah.
And you're just like, there's another bike company way back in the day that had something very similar. I can't remember if it was a Beta or
Beta. No, that's not how you say it.
Or if it was what was the other bike? It wasn't BMW. Maybe it was a Pirelli. It had something similar, and it's just like, just honestly, you're better off just to break your front fender off and ride that way.
Yeah, like I don't know, dude. The rest of the bike looks cool, but they really didn't. Yeah, ish. Yeah. They really didn't hit the mark with that front fender. I'm sorry, that looks stupid. What are you doing? That looks retarded. Not a fan. I'm gonna have to mock that a little bit. Like they've got Caroli and stuff helping them with development of the bike. So I'm sure the bike is decent without having seen anything else about it. But that front fender's got to go, dude. I don't like the first company that comes out with a set of plastics without that stupid fin thing on the front fender. You win. You're gonna sell some of those.
Honestly, what's probably gonna happen is someone's just gonna go to the other bike brands and be like, for instance, maybe like a Honda front fender.
Yeah, totally.
And they're just going to put that on.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yep.
I'm not running that front fender, dude. That thing is ridiculous. Interesting, though. So now we've got Triumph and now we've got Ducati. Interesting that these big players are coming out and, have these bikes. We did a pod not long ago kind of discussing the new brands and stuff, but the Ducati wasn't out yet. Now it is. So interesting, man. We'll have to see. I'm really curious to see when they do like the testing on the Triumph and the Ducati, how do those things shape up against some of the other big brands? That'll be really interesting to see. And what are the comments on them? But I was thinking about this too. If I'm Ducati or Triumph for that matter, and I was charged with designing a new bike. Now, engine and chassis and all that stuff set aside, just the aesthetic appeal of it, right? I guess like what would you be looking for? Like I get the fins on the fender are stupid, but like say the Triumph, right? Because I don't like it. I think it looks terrible. It looks like it was molested by all the other brands, as you said. So, but that being said, if I ask myself the question, okay, well, what would you like then? Like what would look cool? I actually don't know. Like that's a fair question. I don't know what I think would look cool, because if it looks like a Honda, like it just looks like a Honda. Yeah. If it looks like a KTM, well, it just looks like a KTM. So or it looks like an old KTM or a new KTM or a new Honda or an old Honda. It's like there's only so many ways they can cut the pie before they start to look pretty similar.
Very true. But you think that they would like make the bike look a little bit more like their street lineup, very like sharp and agile?
Fins. I got an idea. Let's put fins on it.
Oh yeah, let's come out and go like this.
Yeah, it's really gonna help with stability because of wind.
Yeah.
No, that ain't it. Yeah, interesting though. I don't know. It's. I get it's a tough job, but at the same time, I wouldn't put fins on there. I'm sorry.
No plastics whatsoever.
Gee, that is groundbreaking as the Fox onesie. Yeah. So here's the thing, dude. So buy out the Fox onesie before I forget again. Very interesting in that, like, I had a lot of people comment, not just like on the post, but like DM me about the Fox onesie. Really, honestly, it was like some people were of the camp of like, this is completely ridiculous. And then some people are of the idea like, I don't know what your problem is. This is cool. It's new. Street biking does it, or whoever does it, and blah, blah, blah. It was a really interesting discussion, honestly. Yeah. So I did an Instagram post saying, hey, let me know your thoughts. You with it or against it or whatever. And some people, honestly, they got a little defensive about it even. Like, it was interesting. It was an interesting, I didn't expect that. I expected people to like hate it, love it, whatever. But yeah, dude, I'm sorry if it offends people, but it's a onesie. And if you're going to make a onesie, this is like, let's be honest here. Racing dirt bikes, racing motorcycles in dirt. You're not talking super high end, millionaires and golf professionals and all these people that eat at fancy, dude, the primary base, the demographic of dirt bikers really is hillbillies, right? It's a bunch of rednecks that ride around in mud. They drive 4x4s and whatever, right? Like typically. And so you've got to expect if you put out a onesie, which is what it is, you've got to expect that that same demographic is going to be like, what the hell is that? You know, dude, like how is this surprising? You know, and I get it that some people are like, oh, I'd like to try it. And if I'm being totally honest, full disclosure, I actually would like to ride in it too, because it does look super comfortable. But it's so different, I guess, than, you know, what we typically have. And, you know, I had the comments made to me, well, the pro riders actually asked for it. Oh, okay. So why aren't they still using it? Yeah. Why aren't they still riding it? Like what, you know what I mean? Maybe because people were like, that's silly. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion, dude. Like I say, I got a lot of messages and comments and all that kind of stuff on, just people's opinion of this thing. It was fascinating.
I'm 50-50. I think it looks ridiculous, but I would also just want to try it. It's ridiculous. I'm like, that'd be.
And to be fair, like, if like, let me put it this way: if I didn't see someone up close putting it on, Craig, you know, if somebody was just out riding, I wouldn't even notice though that it was a onesie. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I would just think it was like a fairly form-fitting set of gear. So it's not like you're wearing a snowsuit onesie where it's like, okay, that looks silly. So it's not that obvious, but nonetheless, fascinating conversation to have surrounding the onesie. There's some passionate people about this. Let me tell you, a little surprising actually. I just was like, hey, maybe some people like it, maybe some people don't. But
you should make a version of that, but just coveralls. Like we wear
dude, they do. They do. Or not coveralls. Some companies are coming out with like overall bibs.
Oh,
yeah. So Focus X has a new overall bib, and Fast House has a new set of overall bibs out. I actually do want those because I'm like, that is redneck, and I like it. And you know, in the same sentence, some people might look at those and be like, that looks ridiculous. Like, what are you, a farmer? You know what I mean? That's not the current cool trend of dirt biking. You know, in much the same way, I'm like that with the onesie. But at the same time, I want the overall bibs. I don't know. I just think they're cool, dude. Like I want to get a set. I think they're cool.
Just hilarious, dude. Especially like you could have like a little flap hanging down too.
Yeah, well, in the back. Yeah. And what if like, you know, overall with the kind of the shoulder straps, right? What if you went skins? Like just overall, no jersey, right? You're just letting the guns and the hamburger meat hang out, and you're letting that baby flow in the wind while you're scrubbing. You know what I mean? It's like, it just opens up a whole new world of possibilities of what you could look like. Now, I think it'd be hilarious to see people wearing a set of their dirt biking bibs with no shirt. Like, I think that would be quite comical to see. So
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if it's hot. Dude, I would do that. Like if it's 34 degrees, I'd be like, yeah, put me in some bibs. Yeah. I'm sweating. It's hot, you know? Just get some airflow.
Imagine the amount of roost that's going to collect when that like 85 passes you and just going to collect down.
Oh, dude. I guess that is one thing I never thought about was if you're going skins, you're going to get a little muddy for sure. Like muddier than usual, you know? Because you can get some pretty vented jerseys that let a lot of stuff in, but not like skins. No. Yeah.
It's just going to collect.
Yeah, it really would. It would just drain down. Totally it would.
It's like you have racing streaks down below when you take your underwear off. Like,
your crotch would be...
Myself, or did I?
I might have, because I did get sketchy on the one section. But yeah, you're right. Like your whole crotch would be packed with mud, like just full of dirt and rocks. Hey, never thought of that, but that is correct.
Rocket between the cheeks there.
Yeah, totally.
I can't sit and I can't stand. Looks like he's spraying his cheeks.
Totally. Yeah. See, he's not going for a tear off. He's trying to spread his cheeks. Oh, it's funny because it's possible.
Yeah.
That would be my luck too. Rock right in the ass cheeks. Yeah. And yeah, I guess because the back's open too. So, you know, if you go rail a corner and you know how sometimes like the dirt will come back over your head and spray in front of you, dude, that's going down your back. So you very well could have a rocky ass. Oh, that's not unreasonable. I'm getting you a set of bibs. I'm getting you a set of bibs, and you're going to be the tester on this thing.
We gotta be the tester.
I'm going to hit
both rock it.
Fair enough. I'm going to hit up Focus and get us some bibs and see if we get a rocky ass or not. I think we will. I think we're going to get some rocky asses. For sure, you're getting a muddy crotch. There's no question that you're getting a muddy crotch. I never thought about that. I didn't think about that as a possibility of those, so that's interesting. Yeah.
Things
cool.
We cover on this podcast.
Yeah, everything from like, race results to rocky ass.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my takeaway from this pod will be a rocky ass. How do you deal with that in the air? You can't get your hand in there. Right?
Stay tuned for a review.
I think you're reaching for the butt cheek spread, dude, and try and let that thing drop down.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It'd be cool.
That's where you need to have that like little flap on the back for pooping. Right? Just pop that open.
Just go up into the air, hit a couple little buttons, let her drain.
Yeah.
Hey, let the rocks drain. Away you go. Yeah, but then how do you get it done up? So now you're riding around with a bare ass. Like you literally have your bum showing in the air.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I will buy your set of bibs.
We have the turkey scramble here. Right?
Yeah.
And I remember the one year I was pretty sick, so I was like, I couldn't go to the States to race, so I was like, I'll just go here, and everyone's like dressing up in Halloween costumes, and I was like, I'll just buy like pajamas, like the onesie pajamas, the red ones. And I cut like the ass flap in there, bought SpongeBob SquarePants, put those on, and just raced around. So just like flopping.
That's so money.
Oh, it's great.
You know who else would look good in bibs is Harry.
Oh yeah. Well, Harry does need a new outfit.
He does, yeah. We need to get him a new set of gear for this year.
Yeah.
We definitely should put Harry in some bibs.
Yeah.
I think he would look pretty good in those. Yeah.
And you can't tell if he shot himself because it's all brown hair and
it's all brown anyway.
And he's used to rolling around in the rocks.
Yeah, he's a bit of a savage.
Proper enduro guy.
Yeah, I'll put some. I guess because of the bibs. You got the chest pockets.
Yeah,
you could put a 10 mil and some tape and some zip ties in there, right? Because you never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
You never know when you have to put your bike back together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. That's kind of the points that I had for this pod.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we'll just sit here quietly as the viewership dwindles.
Yeah.
I actually no. One thing I want to talk about was the there was an off-road race that just happened. No.
The King of Hammers?
Yeah.
The King of Moto, sorry?
Yeah. Have you watched it? Have you seen the results? Have you been in tune with what's going on?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of my homework.
Okay, fill me in. What's the lowdown? We talked about Supercross. Let's talk about this ridiculous off-road world.
Well, it's a pretty good start this season, I think, for like at least hard enduros.
Mm-hmm. We literally both bumped our mics at the same time.
We're in tuned. Like no big injuries, which is really nice. No one got lost. A couple of our Canadians actually did quite well, getting top 10s. So
where was this thing?
It's actually state.
It was south of the border.
Yeah, south of the border, where it was warm and dry.
Fair.
And no snow and minus 50.
Sounds better.
Yes. Cody Webb won day one, followed by Tristan Hart. And then, I forget, third place. And then day two, it was actually a really intense battle between Cody Webb and Tristan Hart. And Cody Webb actually decided not to pit to get extra fuel and kind of wing it for the last lap. And he came in like...
Smart or dumb decision? Like luck or really
smart because
turned on to his machine?
They knew from the day before on how much fuel they had left. And so they're like, hey, like if things go well, right, like don't tip over and stuff like that, then you should have enough to just race an entire day.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a gamble though, because like, again, he's running like a carbureted bike. So if you tip over too much, you lose fuel.
Is?
Yeah.
What?
It's a Sherco. Well, actually they have a smart carb on it, but still.
Really?
Yeah. They're old
junk.
School. Yeah.
Junk. Totally. Wow.
But so like he came off and like he was just above reserve, so he still had like he could probably got like another like half a lap in. Whereas Tristan and I forget the other guy, he's on a Husky. Anyways, they came in and they just pitted right? They didn't really check. They just, play it safe. And then went back out, and that kind of just costed Tristan the race there.
Right.
So he ended up getting second. But it's kind of cool to see like Cody Webb back in the runnings of things because he was injured for so long and he didn't have that like intensity for Tristan, whereas Tristan would literally just like take off and like would start lapping even second place.
Right.
Because he was just on it. So this season's going to be really interesting if now that Cody's fully healthy, Tristan's hungry, he's going to get revenge.
Yeah. So is that series, is that like just a US based series? Yes. So like why wasn't Letton Beckler and those dudes there?
So this is the US hard enduro series.
Oh, okay.
And Letton Beckler was out in doing super enduro.
Oh, it's super enduro, really?
Super enduro.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he's back. He's still in Europe. Same with like
Billy Bolt. Yeah.
Johnny Walker, which we got to do some reviews on those type of races because like round 2 of super enduro, Billy like smashed his foot on a double, landing on a log. He got crossroad.
Oh, isn't that enduro cross he was doing?
Yeah, enduro cross, super enduro.
Oh no, I thought super enduro was like the road racing thing, like on pavement. What? Yeah, what's that? Oh, that's supermoto.
Well, there's supermoto, and then there's super bikes or like GP, which would be on the.
Yeah. No. I get MotoGP. Yeah. But like they're basically on a dirt bike, but it's got street tires on it. Supermoto. Okay, that's what I thought. I don't know if I've ever heard it called super enduro before. Seriously, I don't know if I have. I've only ever heard it called enduro cross.
Oh yeah.
I thought for sure I had you. I'm like, idiot. It's enduro cross, not super enduro. I still think I'm right, but continue.
Yeah, Europeans like to call it something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I saw that. I saw a replay of that.
Yeah, which is crazy. And then like to watch him race, like so he's sitting down most of the way around, and Johnny was like trying to go for it, right? When all 3 motos. I was like woodpecker again. And like Billy, like I can't believe how well he still did. Like you tell his foot was hurting, but he was still like just in the like runnings for first place. He was like still second place, but just a little bit further behind. Johnny ended up making a mistake on 2 of the motos, and Billy got first place.
Interesting,
motos, right? So he's still like winning the championship, but like to watch him ride with his like hurt foot like that, I was like, that's
question.
Yes.
What are the odds that he taped it? Do you see where I'm going with this?
Very high. Why wouldn't you tape it?
No, I bet he did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I did see that it actually did look like it hurt a fair bit. Yeah. But yeah, very cool though.
Watch him like, yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday, day before. The track was like super tight. Like I've never seen a super enduro track that tight with that many logs and like just effortlessly. Like just dancing around. And you can see like all the other top guys are actually kind of struggling. It's really interesting to see.
What's crazy though is that the video doesn't do justice of how physically demanding that riding is. Yeah. Like when you're dancing around the rogs. I was going to say rocks and then logs, and I just rolled it into rogs. That's what that is now. It's not rocks and logs. It's rogs. Okay. When you're cruising around the rogs, it's just how physically demanding that is. Like it takes a ton of strength and endurance to be able to move the bike that much. It just doesn't look like it when you're watching it, but take it from me, if you've never tried it, getting around it actually is super physically difficult. That's why their motos or their races are only like 6-7 minutes. Because it's super difficult. Yeah, I think it's fascinating.
The best way to describe it, like for anyone that hasn't done enduro cross or super enduro, is like
it's not super enduro, it's enduro cross. But continue.
To do like 2 laps of enduro cross is like doing a 10 to 20 minute moto. Is the best way to describe it, at least for us.
Yeah, right? it is. It's super physically demanding.
Yeah.
It's surprising because it doesn't look that hard. You know.
Yeah.
But it's tough for sure. And I know from experience that it's quite difficult.
Which you will know from more experience later this year.
Yes.
When you do an actual enduro cross race in the States.
I'm going to need to get some seat time in doing it for sure. Yeah. We might have to do it though. Dude, that would be like, I would be a train wreck. Like as far as like nerves, you know what I mean? Cause it's like moto is one thing. I've done a lot of it. It's not that big of a deal. I can calm myself down pretty easily. But enduro cross, I'd just be like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. You know, I don't think I should be here, but here we are. So, But yeah, absolutely. I think that's pretty cool. And
So I guess what we're saying is, viewers, let us know if you want to see Mitch do an enduro cross race this year.
yeah, DM me.
Yeah.
Fit4moto on Instagram. DM me. Send me a message.
I'm creating a whole bunch of fake accounts.
I'm just gonna start spamming me with messages. You should race. You should race.
Yeah.
From like user 123. Yeah, I would like to try it. It just I would definitely need some more seat time on the rogs. You see how that's gonna catch on? Mark my words, that's catching on. I'm using that. That's a new word, TM. And
I think I can tell you're getting cold.
Why?
Because that's when you start.
Yeah, I do start making. It is getting cold in here already. Yeah, but not that cold. But yeah, I think if I got some more experience on that stuff, I think I'd be all right. But it's like I'd have to focus on it for a while, right? Because it's just a completely different skill set than motocross track.
Like honestly, you have the fitness for it.
As he says with a laugh. As he says while he's laughing.
I was going to go into some other stuff there too, but I'll be really nice. Anyways, you have the fitness for it, right? I think it's just like having those data files on like how the bike's going to react.
Well, and that's a huge, and that's exactly what it is too, is like, okay, if I hit a log on this angle at this size of a log going this speed, this is what'll happen.
Yeah.
You know, and you do enough moto, it's like, you know, if you're reading a rut, you know exactly what the bike's going to do when you come out of it. I just don't have those data files yet on ROGs. And so I love that word. And so I'd have to build those in. I think I could catch on fairly quickly, but I would definitely need some more seat time and probably honestly a bigger budget, because I'm going to smash and break a lot of things. And you know how I feel about that.
You actually don't wreck that much.
I've seen your bikes. There's
That's
wrecked
different.
things. That's different.
Yes, I'm trying new things.
I did one hard enduro. My plastics are bolted together.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
To be fair, that was my fault. I just sent it.
Second year with those plastics or third? This is going on in third year.
This would be the third year. Yeah,
They're still on there. And your front fender is not zip tied on like most people's.
That's also true. But I also I look at things and go, nah, because I don't want to throw the bike down there. You know what I mean?
And then just don't throw the bike. Don't drop it.
See, but then you take me into an area where it's like, but I have to go down there. So it's like,
on both wheels.
Yeah, easier said than done when it's like a 80-degree angle.
There's bushes for you to hit that catch you, and they're quite soft most of the time.
Most of the time.
Or I park down there and you just hit me. That is the secret. You always let your bike go first, and then you follow. And if you get too wild, you hit him, and it's a softer cushion.
That's science.
Yeah,
that's just impact protection.
Exactly. Thinking ahead.
Yeah, I would like to do some more of it this year, though, for sure. Last year was a little bit of a write-off as far as time goes for that. So I'd like to get out and do some more of that stuff. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think that's it for this pod. Hey, it's wow, we're an hour in. Yeah. Holy.
I know. We
just started ranting about rocks in your ass and rogs and
that's just the stuff that got recorded.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
We're here for like an hour before.
Totally, yeah. But where can people find you?
For Facebook and Instagram, it'll be Tyler_Winlet 141.
How do you spell your last name?
I was waiting for that. WEND.
So
LANDT.
When I edit the video, and I put like, at Fit4moto, right? And then I put like Tyler Winlet. You take up a giant space on the screen to put your whole name in there. It should be like TW. TW 141 or something. You know what I mean?
I guess. It's not as cool.
Anyway, if you want to find Ty,
eye-catching.
It's more eye-catching. Yeah, because it's a lot to look at.
Exactly.
If you want to find Ty, hit him up, send him a DM, tell him that moto is cooler than off-road. And you can find me at Fit4moto, FIT4moto on Instagram. Send me a message.
We should actually do like a price breakdown between enduro and moto, because you guys always buy new gear even when it's not even trashed yet.
Oh yeah, dude, you can't look like a chump out there. You got to look
exactly.
You got
fresh
to look.
Boots every moto.
You know what I mean? Dude, yeah, 100%.
As we've seen from your previous videos.
Dude, you've seen my old boots. They're in rough shape.
I don't know. But and then us enduro guys, we use the same gear over and over.
Zip tie it together.
We're really good at sewing, and then we have to put all of our money towards our bike parts to protect it.
But see, that's the thing is like moto guys will spend a ton of money on bike parts, but it's all for shiny new things. Exactly. It has nothing to do with performance, or they don't need the performance fix. They're just like, but it's eye candy, right?
It's
Whereas
anodized.
I find, exactly, Whereas I find like the off-road guys are more like, I just break shit, so I need new parts. I need brake levers and engine cases and exhaust. Good Lord, dude, the amount of exhaust you guys go through is crazy.
Yeah, don't run titanium ones.
Crazy, man. But yeah, cool, buddy.
Sweet.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. If you're still tuned into this thing, thank you for watching. If you're still watching, that's impressive. You must clearly be doing something else in the house while this plays in the background. But we really appreciate it. And stay tuned for another episode.
Yes.
Cool. Peace, everyone.